Welcome back everybody to day 2 of this at-home workout project we've created using only common household items. So A, you have no excuses, and B, you can start your workout right away, get to it, get it done, get back to working from home or assembling a cat puzzle or whatever it is that you're doing right now. So if you're confused as to why I have a couch in the middle of our training area and I've got a backpack and a bottle of water, you clearly missed day 1. I would suggest you go back to that. You can find that on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, what have you. If you've got these things at the ready, or you did day 1 and you brought them to start right off today, then let's get started.
It seriously changed my life.
I've gone from a 40-inch waist to a 36 pant size, and those are loose.
You can tell the trainer what it is you want to achieve, and they'll help you get there.
The trainers here are awesome. Jen is fantastic to work with.
Getting back into it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
All right, we're gonna get straight into this. I just want to preface for anybody that's choosing not to do day 1 first, that my name's Brent. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm obviously in our exercise studio right now, but we're not using any of the equipment here. So if you don't have any gym equipment at home, this workout's gonna work for you as long as you have a backpack and some water bottles. Okay? We're not gonna use those for the first set though. So we're just gonna get started and that's gonna come into play in the second set. So we're doing 30-second intervals. We're gonna start now with high plank shoulder taps. I'm gonna show you this in 2 different positions. First, we're gonna get into a high plank position, which is basically a push-up position. We're gonna widen our feet a little bit wider, and then we're gonna reach across and tap the opposite shoulder. Okay, we're trying not to shift the hips as we do this and load all the way under one shoulder. We're trying to use the abs and the core to keep ourselves level and shift as little as possible. So we've got about 10 more seconds of this, and then we're gonna move into a side lunge toe tap from the side. All right, side lunge toe tap. We're gonna get into a side lunge position. We're gonna transition across and reach for the opposite side leg. Now, if you can keep your back straight and get real low, that's great. If you have to lean over to do this, you're gonna keep your back straight and just come to your knees, whichever one works better for you. We're just transitioning side to side, slightly rotating the torso as we're doing it. If we can reach low, great. Okay, if we can't quite reach the toes, let's try knees or mid shin. So we got a few more seconds of this, and then we're gonna switch. We're gonna move into a spider plank. So instead of transitioning hands in a plank position, we're gonna go low plank. Again, back flat. And then we're going to twist and rotate this knee towards the same side elbow, and then twist to the other side. So we're not just kicking the leg out, turning right forward, we won't get very far. We're trying to use the abdominals to twist and rotate. Let me show you that from the front. So shoulders are square, we're nice and low, side to side. All right, and final exercise in the superset, we're gonna do a box squat, which we actually did in the first video. If you haven't seen that, we're gonna sit back, drop the hips onto the couch, and come back up. You can use an automatic chair, whatever works best for you. And we're bringing the arms forward to counterbalance our weight, coming back. We're able to touch down lightly and not fall back onto the couch. Now, if you can't quite do this and you have to sit back, rock the shoulders back a little bit and come forward and create some momentum to stand up, I'm okay with that. That's what you have to do. Not everybody should be doing that. We're trying to control, come down, touch the hips, and right back up. All right, so this is gonna end our first superset. We're gonna do a little stretching in here too. So the first thing we're gonna do is a standing quad stretch. If you'd like to reach over and hold on to something like the back of a chair or the couch, that's fine. Reach your hand back, grab the top of the foot, and just bring the knee back out of the body. So we don't wanna be here. We don't wanna punch forward and have this quad not really stretched out. This knee should be back and out the body best we can. And we're gonna switch. front that looks like this, the knee should be loaded under the hip. It should not be out to the side or across the body. That's gonna be the end of our first superset. Now, you have the option to pause here if you want to. If you're feeling good and you're not huffing and puffing, that's fine, just keep going. All right, welcome back. We're gonna get into the second set now. I just want to say first something about the water bottles. Now, this may seem strange, but a pint of water weighs about a pound. These are essentially 1 pound weights. So we're gonna use these to move back and forth individually. We're gonna use them as targets to reach for. We're also gonna load them into the backpack, which is why we have that. So that allows us to tailor a weight that's perfect for us based upon the movement that we're doing, with a lot of flexibility, which is why a case is great. If you just have 5 or 6 water bottles around the house, reusable ones, that's okay. You may need to do a few more reps and move a little bit faster than if you were to have a whole case. You could tailor the weight to yourself just a little bit more. All right, so we're going to start off by doing another variation of the high plank. High plank position, we're just going to slide this bottle back and forth in front of us. This is a little bit more challenging than just reaching to the shoulder. Now this is a progression of the first exercise. There's nothing wrong with if you get a little too tired to go back to that tapping movement, or if that's too much, just reaching for the hand on the opposite side is fine as well. Second thing we're going to do is just a regular side plank. Okay, this is the same thing we just did. It's a little bit deeper and a little less rotation in the torso. So we're going to make sure the hip is coming back, trying to load the knee over the ankle, and then we're going to transition to the other side of the same thing. Okay, so we're going to step out, drop down, transition, step out, drop down. Back and forth with this. Slide. Now if this gets to be a little too much, we're huffing and puffing a little bit, we can go back to this, that transitional kind of stretch back and forth, where we're reaching for the knees, whatever feels best for you. Next, we're going to move into plank jacks. So that's a low plank position instead of high. It's a little bit more challenging. And we're going to hop back and forth, so separating the feet and then bringing it back together. Now, if that becomes too difficult to finish the 30 seconds, it's okay to go back to the spider points, all right? Final thing we're going to do is going to be a bag swing. So we're going to load some water bottles into this bag. And essentially what's equivalent of a kettlebell swing. I prefer that you have a bag that has a handle on the top and bottom. It's just a little bit safer. If you need to hold onto the straps back here, that's okay. It's not quite as safe, and you're gonna have a lot more play in the bag. So hips come back first, basically into a squatting position, sumo or so. Drive up with the bag swing forward, and repeat that motion. There's a little bit of shoulder activation here. A lot of this movement is coming from the hips. Okay, so we're really using our legs to propel this bag upwards and forwards. And again, if that gets really challenging, when you just have to go back to the box spot to finish off the 30 seconds, that's all right. Okay, so again, we're gonna end this superset with a stretch. We're gonna start with just a standing hamstring stretch. So we don't want to just fold forward and allow the back to completely relax. There's nothing wrong with this movement, but to get the hamstrings a little bit more, we want to keep the back straight, unlock the knees, and try to bring the belly button to the thighs, more so than trying to bring the nose to the knees. That extra range of motions and stretching our hamstrings in. Trying to come down. If you want to reach back and grab the calves, pull down a little bit. Try and keep the back as flat as you can though. And we're going to hold that for about like 5 seconds. Get in deep. And then next we're going to move into the couch hip flexor stretch. When we sit a lot, hip flexors get really tight. We did do this in the last video, but it's something we're going to do a fair amount of because this is a trouble spot for us right now if we're seated a lot, working from home, or watching Netflix. So top of the foot goes on the seat of the couch, knee gets planted, this foot comes out a little bit so we can lean forward, pushing the hip forward without putting the knee too far past the toe. And drop that hip in best we can. We'll just for about another 3 seconds, and then we're going to switch to the other side. Alright, so we come back. This is difficult to do. You can start with both knees on the floor and hands down. Then just bring one foot up. Use your hands to support you as you bring your one foot forward. Try to bring this a little bit in front of where you think your starting position would be. So as you lean forward, you're not putting too much pressure on the knee. Trying to keep the chest up, and most of the pressure should be here on the hip flexor as opposed to on the quad. We don't want to be leaning forward because that's going to take the pressure off of the hip flexor. So chest up, hip forward, drive in best you can. If your knee comes too far forward after you loosen up a little bit, just scoot that foot forward and drive the hip. Okay, awesome. Good set. That's 2. We got 1 more of these with the progression of these exercises, and we're going to move into some more upper body stuff. So if you're huffing and puffing, if you're sweating real hard, you need a break, that's fine. Just pause this, and we'll move on from your room. All right, we're back for our final superset of these type of exercises before we move on. Let me say again, there's no shame in pausing this for a minute. This isn't a class. If you need a second to catch your breath and grab some water, that's totally okay. You shouldn't feel bad about that. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do is a low plank bottle tap. So we're gonna set a bottle out in front of us. We're gonna get into a low plank position, and then we're gonna alternate side to side, reaching out for the bottle without hyperextending the back, okay? So we're gonna get down low. Bottle is maybe a foot or 2 in front of us, depending on the length of your arm. Hips in a good position, and reach out and touch. Okay, so if that's super difficult, we're not able to maintain that, it's okay to go back to the bottle slides or to the touches of the shoulder, whatever works best for you for the duration of the 30 seconds. We're going to move on to side lunge jumps. This is not something that's for everybody. This is fairly difficult. It's okay if we need to stick with the side lunge. What this looks like is we're transitioning weight onto this leg, jumping up and actually bringing this leg over. So up and down, side to side. Anytime we're doing any sort of jumping motion and leaving the floor, as you can tell from my voice, it gets fairly metabolic. Get that heart rate up and breathing up pretty quick. So if we need to regress to something else, like the side lunge, or just that stretch back and forth, or going to the knee, or down to the foot, either one is fine. Next, we're going to move on to mountain climbers. Most of you know what those are. They're also very metabolic as we're hopping back and forth. So it's a high plank position. One foot comes forward almost all the way up to the elbow. We're going to hop back and forth and repeat that motion. Now, if we need to dial that back to the spider plank, that's okay. It's low plank to finish. It's got a couple of seconds left. And finally, we're going to do a back thruster. So, while the motion before was mostly legs, this is a lot of shoulders, although the legs are helping out. We bring the bag to collarbone height. Try to secure the straps in underneath the face. We bring the elbows forward and the shoulders down and back. We're going to drop into a low squat position, drive up and lift the back overhead at the same time. We're going to do that without much pause. This is quite a bit harder than the swing. So if this is again something we need to step down from for the last 10 seconds or so, we can go back to the swinging motion. Similar in the lower body, but as far as upper body's involvement, a lot less. Okay, we're going to finish off with stretching the calves out. Now, really commonly you see people do this calf stretch where you're placing the foot on the floor flat and trying to lean forward. It doesn't really give you as much leverage as you want or to really get a good stretch. I prefer to do this against the wall. You can do it against the side of your couch if it's fairly heavy and sturdy. We're just going to put as much of the bottom of the foot on a flat surface in front of us as possible. We're going to keep the knee unlocked. They're going to bring this hip forward. And you can see that I get a lot more range of motion doing this than I can with just having my foot back behind me. So we're gonna hold that for another 10 seconds. And then we're gonna transition to the other side. And just hold that. I won't make you watch me do this for another 10 seconds, but get your breath together. Try to get your heart rate down a little bit. And we're gonna move on to a completely different set of exercises next. There's gonna be a pause coming up. If you need to hit it, that's okay. I know I can run right now. All right, welcome back. I hope that you got some water and caught your breath a little bit, wiped some sweat off with a towel, and you're back and ready to do more. What we're gonna do now is completely different than the other exercises. This is 4 new exercises. Most of this is gonna be done with the bag moving forward, okay? Now, just to explain this a little bit more in case we're all confused, each one of these weighs about a pound. There's 24 bottles in this case, which means that I can make this bag weigh about 25 pounds, maybe a little bit more than that. Now, some of you just said 25 pounds, that's not that much. And the truth is that anything with enough volume becomes too much. And so since these are unique times, things are tough right now, and so it's tough to get creative, and we're getting creative with this. This isn't new to me. This is something that when I have clients travel and they go to hotels that don't have gyms, I tell them, go to Target, go to Walmart, bring your suitcase, fill it with water bottles, bring it back to your hotel room. I'll give you something to do with it that's going to challenge you regardless of your fitness level. Just to be clear, I have meant that they should pay for the water bottles as well, just to figure out how much they could fit. They should bring it back. And it's honestly, if you have a full-size suitcase, you can fit up to 75 water bottles in your bag, and that's going to challenge just about anybody with not too much volume. Okay? So we're going to get into that. I'm not going to put too much weight in here for demonstration purposes, just so I can continue to breathe through all of this. But you can load up whatever you think. If you're one of those people that kind of laughed at the 25 pounds and you want to throw it all in here right now, I'm fine with that. Go ahead. If this is something that's kind of new to you, especially since this isn't a fixed bar, it's going to feel a little unstable, kind of like a sandbag, which is not something most gyms have. So this is going to feel a little different. I would recommend you start with a couple of bottles and work your way up. If you feel like it's too easy, pause the video and go back. You're going to have to kind of tailor this to you, and that's going to be really different for everybody, so I can't even offer like a solid recommendation on what to start with. But the first thing we're going to do is going to be a chest press motion, which most people know. We can do this on the floor. So we're just going to drop down and bring the elbows into the side, lay back, and press up. Now, if you don't have carpeting on your floor, or you just really want to lay on your floor, you can also lay your shoulder blades on a chair or a couch. I'm going to do this a little bit of an angle so you can see it, but ideally you can do it 90 degrees. So you can here, you're going to bring your hips up, shoulder blades on here, so you're supported, and you're going to drive up and press and come back down. So from the side, this is what this would look like. And you're asking why my hips on there? Because I'm going to sink into the couch and relax my back, and that's not what we're here to do right now. All right, so ideally you would bring your hips up, lock out your core, make sure that your glutes are engaged, and be keeping your lower body active and your core active while you're doing this motion. It's going to make it much harder. Next, we're going to do a row. We're going to do this standing. You may want to turn your bag to the side a little bit and reposition your ankles so you have a little bit more room. You're going to drop the hips back. We're not trying to get an extended position out here, but the bag is really far away from the heels. That's going to put a lot of pressure on your low back. So stand up straight tall, shoulder blades down and back, hips come back. And I'm just going to pull into the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then come back down. And again, if you're trying to do this and you think, oh, I'm not good with my bag, just pause the video. That's going to wait and continue. It's a nice thing about this being a video instead of a class. Just finish that off. Got about 15 more seconds of that. If you start to get tired and this is really difficult, it's okay to stand up, relax a little back a little bit, come back into position, and then return to the row. If you really get lit up here and it starts to feel like it's tensing up, just stop and we'll move on to something different right now. Right? So we're going to do an overhead press next, which is very similar to the thruster motion. We're coming back and driving up. Right? We're going to keep the elbows in. Load them under the bag, keep the shoulder blades down the back, drop the hips back, and press up overhead. But we're going to remove the squat for this one. So this down to the collarbone and back up. Just from the front here. So the elbows are in the whole time. Try not to flare out, press up on the triceps. And then finally, we're going to do a curl with this. So, because of the nature of how these handles are going to be shaped, the nature of using a bag, your hands are going to be facing in. So, in the industry, we call that a hammer curl. It's going to activate your brachioradialis a little bit more. That's normal. You feel a little longer in your hamstring, your forearms doing this. So, palms facing in. Again, change the weight. If you can change the weight based upon your strength level. Hold on to the bag firmly, bring it down to the hips, shoulder blades back and down the body. Sorry, elbows back and down the body, shoulder blades down the back, and curl up and back down. Just from the front, you see my elbows are staying flat on my body for the time, and not finding the body. Alright, so we're going to do some stretching now. I'm going to set the bag aside. Do something very similar to this sideline windmill that we did in the last video. We're going to get onto the floor in a similar position when we finished him, or we're going to be spread out like this on the floor, hopefully our shoulder blades both on the ground. And then we're just going to bring that knee across. So flat back, knee up, and across, best you can reach. If this feels like a lot of pressure on your back, you're just going to extend your foot out and let it rest on the ground and let the shoulder blade come off a little bit. That's okay. Ideally, you'll be able to stay flat, and some of us that are real flexible might be able to hold the knee to the floor. You can do that, but do that gently. And we're going to switch sides now. So again, starting with flat back, you can cross. You need to support the foot. If you need to put the over here or something, that is okay too. Hopefully you're going to be able to allow this to just use your body weight to stretch out the back a little bit. Just 5 more seconds of that. Alright, we're getting a little ab work in. We're going to do a bag Russian twist. It's exactly like it sounds. Pick the right weight for us. Grab the handle if you want to just open the bag. That's okay. It's good for your setups. If you want to comfortable that way. And we're going to, if you can, pick you off the ground. Bring the bag side to side. Making sure we're rotating the shoulders, not keeping the shoulders straight, just bringing the arms to the side. That's not that exercise here. So side to side. You're going to feel a little shift. You can probably see it a little bit in my feet. And that's normal. If you need to put your feet down, that's okay as well. And if this is not great pressure on your back, you can do this down and down. So, that was maybe a little bit more learning. I can talk a little bit more. But we're going to go into this and we're just going to change the way we're doing a little bit by changing the tempo. Again, I'm going to give you the opportunity to pause though, so do that now when you need to. If not, we'll do it. Alright, welcome back. I just want to say that if you're still here finishing this, I think that's awesome. Just go ahead and give yourself a little phone 5. Just reach out and smack the crap out of your phone.
It's gonna be legendary. Phone 5.
Alright, cool. So we have 2 supersets left. We're going to do not a variation of these, but a progression only by tempo. Okay, so tempo is the speed at which we do things. Basically, by slowing things down on the eccentric or the releasing motion, that's going to challenge our muscles a little bit more. And then coming off explosively is also going to activate some different muscle fibers. It's going to feel a lot different too. So we're going to do that with either the same weight, if that was challenging, or if you want to add weight, that's okay. We're again going to get into that position where our shoulder blades are centered on the couch here. Body is fully engaged. If you want to get in the face of the straps, you can turn this around. And we're going to come down for a 4 count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then explode up as fast as we can. We're not going to hold it at all at the top. We're just going to back down 1, 2, 3, 4, and explode. Okay, and if that gets tiring, because it is much more challenging, we're just going to come down and return to our previous tempo. Or if that's too much and you're going to tire yourselves out at this point, we can drop into a regular push-up and continue to challenge the chest. You can push-ups from the knees, whatever it is that you feel is going to be difficult enough for you to challenge you. This is completely individualized, obviously. Next, we're going to do a row, same thing. Making sure we're getting in a good back position, while nice and flat, shoulder blades down and back. Hips are coming back. And we're going to come up now for 1, and then down for 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to row up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 again. All right, if we need to go back to that regular tempo, that's fine. Next, overhead shoulder press, same idea. I'm going to throw a couple more bottles in here. And let you guys have all the fun. Same thing as before. Now it's upward, going up explosively, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to almost push the head through to get to the top. So the elbows end up in line with the ears. Okay. Down. So make sure the back does not get too far away from us so we lose our good form and posture. Now go back. And the last thing we're going to do is a curl in the same manner. So we come all the way down, shoulder blades down the back, elbows in lap the torso. We come up explosively and back down. Depending on the size of your suitcase, please do not hit yourself in the face. So up explosively, down 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're doing this correctly, you can't tell that actually is a lot more challenging than what we were really doing. All right, so we're gonna get a little bit more stretching in. We got some seated bicep stretch, which we also did yesterday. So for those of us that are spending a lot of time on the computer right now working, or we're just in a seated position on our phone, we're gonna get pretty tight here. So in order to stretch the shoulders and biceps out, we're gonna get into this position, and we're gonna drive the chest up. Okay, now depending on the height of your couch and how tall you are, this is gonna feel different. If we need to make it a little more challenging, we can bring the hands in towards each other, making sure we're not rounding our shoulders forward. That's the whole purpose of this, is to get them stretched out and get the arms stretched out as well. If we need to come out wider because that feels super tight, that's okay too. And then if it happens to be better if you would be on the seat of the couch and reaching back, just ratio-wise, that's okay, try that out. You can use a chair, you also can stand, use a kitchen counter, a table, whatever works for you. Just try to find the right ratio between where your hips are and where your shoulders are, that you can keep that chest up nice and strong and get your arms stretched out and not get pulled forward. All right, and the last thing we're gonna do for abs is gonna be hip taps. So we're gonna get in a low plank position. This is similar to shoulder taps, but a little bit more challenging. So good position here, feet a little wider than the push up, and then we're gonna reach for the opposite side, hip back and forth now. This is tough, we can't come up to a high plank position, which is always easier. Reach across for the shoulders. As we were before, we can just stay in a low plank position. We can get the bottle out again and reach, whatever works best for you. All right, we're gonna rest, and we're gonna do one more variation of this, and then we're done. We're doing great. We'll be right back. All right, one more superset stands between you and whatever it is that you're gonna watch on Netflix after this. So let's just continue this and get this done. We're gonna do something very different for this. We're gonna do a single arm, single leg chest press now. So we are gonna put the entire length of the spine on the edge of the couch here. Make sure you're enough on, you're not gonna roll off. But you should be somewhat on the edge, so it's still a bit of a balance challenge for you. We're going to then plant this foot, bring this bag above the shoulder, and then we're going to press up with a single arm pressing motion instead. The bag is going to drag a little bit on the arm, and that's completely fine as long as it doesn't bother you. And we're just going to switch and do the other side. So again, legs up, this foot is planted. I am on the edge of the couch, stabilizing through my core. I'm not just laying in the center of it. You've done enough of that. I'm going to come up and back. You can close your hand or leave it open, whatever feels good for you. I tend to leave my hand open when I'm pressing lighter weight. Next, we're going to move on to a reversed plank. Now, this doesn't sound like it's back exercise, but if you think about what you're doing, it is. So we're going to plant our palms on the ground. Hopefully our fingertips are pointing towards our toes. You can bring your wrist in this position. I'm not a super big fan of that. It puts a lot of pressure on it. It's actually a position we can stretch the wrist in. So we're going to come here, And then we're gonna bring our feet out and just bring our body up into a plank position as we can and try to bring our ears back in line with the shoulders as well. This may not seem like a back exercise, but if you're thinking about it, the only thing that's preventing your body from falling from the floor is your entire posterior chain contracting and pulling it up, right? I'm gonna hold this for another 15 seconds. This is super challenging. We need to just come down for a second. That's fine. If you want to grab the bag and just do some of the row motions we've been doing to finish off this 30 seconds, that's okay too. Then we're going to be doing a bag clean and press, which is going to seem a combination of the swing and the thruster. It is. Before we start this, if you're using a backpack, I would encourage you to either cinch the straps all the way down or loop them over each other, grab both with your thumb, and then grab the handle here. So you've got this really secured. You're going to be throwing this around, and if these are loose, you're probably going to get hit in the face with them. So we're going to take the straps here. We're going to start down in a sumo squat type position. If we're able to get this full range of motion, if you have to start here, that's all right. And drive up and catch this bag at shoulder height, and then press overhead with it. Back down. This is one of the more challenging things that we've done today. If we're not able to do this for a full 30 seconds, we can just downshift the shoulder press. Okay, you can do that with a 4-0-1 tempo if that's challenging. And the other one just isn't quite enough. Okay. Finally, we're going to do an exercise you may not have done before. Usually it's on the sandbag. We're going to get in a low plank position, and we're going to row the bag towards us using our bicep and back, and then push it out with our shoulders and then switch sides. Like this. Little plank, grab, row. Reach out as far as you can so you are actually rowing. And if that's not something that most of us can do for 30 seconds, again, just downshift into curls, whatever it is today that you want to finish off with, because we are done. So, nice work today. As you can tell, I'm puffing a lot more than we were yesterday. That's because we added weight to this. That's because we did a lot of core stabilization stuff. This probably felt a lot more challenging than yesterday. That's the purpose of the regressions and progressions here. And thank you for staying with us and supporting us through this time, and we're trying to support you. If you want to share this video with somebody because you got value with it, and you know the people out there who are trying to exercise and are struggling to, we'd really appreciate that. Give us a like or a follow. That'd be awesome. We'll see you soon.
You need someone to guide you, and you get the guidance here at Land and Lux.